wrong and America is cheering loudly. Amid all the craziness in the news lately, many positive stories about America making an epic comeback have been set aside. Or maybe the mainstream media just doesn't want to report good news coming from President Trump. Advertisement. Now this is not huge news, but just a nice sign that Trump's agenda of bringing America back to prominence is taking root. President Donald Trump took a victory lap and celebrated the successful bid by Los Angeles to host the Olympic Games in 2028 today. It's been a long time since we hosted a Games, but more on that later. For the first time in a generation, the Olympics are coming back to the United States, and I am proud to support LA 2028, Trump said in a prepared statement. According to Breitbart, the president congratulated the United States Olympic Committee for bringing the Games back to America and lit a competitive spark under the rest of the world by reminding everyone of our lead in Olympic medals. No country has won more Olympic medals or trained more Olympic and Paralympic athletes, Trump said. America always shines brightly during the Games, and LA 2028 will be no exception. It's good to have a president who is publicly proud to be an American, isn't it? While Trump took no credit for the big win, he was working behind the scenes to help the effort. Trump took particular interest to right a wrong that Obama hoisted on this great nation that was his bungled 2016 Olympic pitch. In 2009, Barack Obama made a personal visit to Denmark to try win the 2016 Olympics for his hometown of Chicago. He flopped spectacularly as the 2016 Summer Games were given to Rio de Janeiro and the United States came in fourth. Trump mocked Obama at the time, saying, "Advertisement, the President of the United States making the trip, unprecedented, comes in fourth place. He should have known the result before making such an embarrassing commitment. We were laughed at all over the world, as we have been many, many times. The list of humiliations go on and on and Jeff Sessions busts massive D.C. bribery scheme. The U.S. Department of Justice headed by Jeff Sessions has successfully ended a government contractor's life. He had perpetrated an estimated 15-year bribery and corruption racket. The degenerate was sentenced to 5 years in prison. He was even ordered to pay $15,000 legal fine. Advertisement. U.S. District Judge Orinda L. Wright Allen today sentenced Joseph P. Allen, 56, of Panama City, Florida, following his guilty plea on April 19, to one count of conspiracy to commit bribery, the Justice Department statement read. Jeff Sessions and the DOJ elaborated on the scheme that was worth almost $3 million that occurred between 1999 and 2014. According to the statement of facts included in Allen's guilty plea, Allen conspired with a government contracting official, Scott B. Miserandino Sr., 58, formerly of Stafford, Virginia, to use Miserandino's position at Military Sealift Command, to enrich themselves through bribery, the statement continued. Miserandino, Allen's alleged helper, hasn't even been sentenced yet in the military contracting fraud. However, the details give a little more information on the fraudulent plans. Specifically, beginning in about 1999, Miserandino used his position and influence at Military Sealift Command to facilitate and expand Allen's company's commission agreement with a third-party telecommunications company that sold maritime satellite services to MSC. Unknown to MSC or the telecommunications company, throughout the scheme, Allen paid half of the commissions he received from that telecommunications company to Miserandino as bribes. Miserandino was charged with 5 counts on May 4. It's actually almost as disgusting as the VA scandal that ran under the Obama administration. This isn't something that should be taken lightly, and if this is what Sessions does, he will maintain his job for a very long time. What do you think of Sessions and the DOJ going after these scumbags? Advertisement. Share this story so everyone knows that the Attorney General is redeeming himself. GOP Congress discovers $1 billion payment to law firm under Obama. The National Credit Union Administration is doing their best to renegotiate the terms of a 2009 agreement with 2 private law firms. They paid more than $1 billion to the attorneys. The GOP Congress is freaking out. That massive number was funded to pay the firms for the 26 cases they served on behalf of the NCUA. Advertisement: the agency was actually the liquidator for 5 corporate credit unions. They were the credit unions they were trying to bail out. The lawyers, who were kept on their retainer fees, did actually help the NCUA regain $5 billion from banks that put money into failed credit unions. That arrangement is too generous to the attorneys, one GOP Congress member said. The payment of over $1 billion in legal fees to private counsel raises serious questions about the propriety of the NCUA's legal fee arrangements, including whether the arrangements were in the best interest of the NCUA, Representative Ann Wagner, RMO, put forth in her letter to the chairman Mark McWaters that she isn't happy with the results. She is looking for more info from the agency and the agreement with the 2 law firms. She should be upset because they spent $1 billion of taxpayer dollars. Another agency, the Federal Housing Finance Agency, had its own deal with 2 other law firms to recoup money on behalf of mortgage giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. FHFA has recovered more than $25 billion, and those law firms, based on an hourly fee basis, have received more than $400 million. Trial lawyers are all in the pockets of the Dems. They work for them as long as they keep funding them. It seemed like a fraud racket. There isn't a surprise that fiscally conservative GOP Congress is upset about this. There will be even more investigation into this in the future. Advertisement: what do you think about this? Sarah Huckabee Sanders reads the Riot Act to cowering liberal reporter. White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders went after the mainstream media again during a White House press briefing on Tuesday. She is fighting against a liberal press and their blatantly lying headlines and their stupid fixation on the Russia story. Sarah Huckabee Sanders went after the anti-Trump media while talking to reporters during her Tuesday White House press briefing. She said that they were fueling a false narrative about President Trump and the Kremlin being very close. Advertisement: the only thing I see misleading is a year's worth of stories that have been fueling a false narrative about this Russia collusion and this phony scandal based on anonymous sources, said Sanders. She said they are completely dedicated to the meeting that Donald Jr. had with the Russian lawyer and nothing was produced. She also reminded them that they have been virtually silent on the collusion between the Democrats and the Ukraine. Even a Democrat company took money from the Russian government while they designed a completely false dossier. That dossier is what they have been dedicating their fake news stories to. It's the basis of their lies. And if you want to talk further about a relationship with Russia, look no further than the Clintons, said the press secretary. Hillary Clinton allowed 1/5 of America's uranium reserve to be sold to a Russian firm whose investors were Clinton Foundation donors. These morons couldn't follow a legitimate story if they were paid. Oh wait, they are paid. That proves how inept liberal media is. They don't care about information, just their agenda. If you guys want to talk about having relations, which you seem obsessed with doing, look no further than there, she added. You guys want to create a narrative that just doesn't exist. Advertisement: what do you think of Sanders crushing the competition again? Just in Trump announces USA just broke another record, first time in history. What Trump promises is what Trump makes a reality. The president so far made enormous changes that proven to be amazing for this nation. The mainstream media together with the liberals ignore this fact and are still inventing different narratives and stories in order to make him look bad. Trump usually is talking about his accomplishments via social media, and this Tuesday he did the same thing. He wished us very appropriate good morning. The president is very satisfied with the current stocks market and the growth of the business that is happening around this nation after 8 years, reports USA News Flash. He tweeted, "Once again Trump's policies are proven to be the thing this country needs. He is indeed achieving more than Obama did in the past couple of years." After going through a 15% increase in the first quarter, with 60% of all firms in the index reporting an 11% growth in the second quarter. Reports show that industries from the automotive and finance tech are currently enjoying their second quarter profit gains. We also learned that Trump and his fellow Republicans are doing anything possible to cut the individual and corporate tax rates by the end of this September. Wow, what a change! This is a major win for the current administration, and they are doing an amazing job. We all need to ignore the media's lies and to focus on Trump's tweets at this point. Right before he left DHS, General Kelly sent Barack Obama a message. The loser Obama official who implemented Barack Obama's awful countering violent extremism policy at the Department of Homeland Security finally resigned. He was anticipating General Kelly firing him. George Salim headed the now collapsed CVE program. Advertisement: the CVE tried to give federal support and legal autonomy to Islamic political groups. They offered this if the groups redirected the wave of immigrants away from Islamic militancy and jihad. Kelly will make a new, successful anti-jihad strategy. On Friday, July 28, Secretary Kelly accepted the resignation of George Salim, a dedicated career professional who served at DHS under 3 presidents, beginning with President Bush in 2005, said a statement from Acting Secretary of Homeland Security Elaine Duke. George Salim's awful support for such a stupid policy has cost him his job. General Kelly won't be tolerating the nonsense that has put our lives in danger that was accepted under Obama. The DHS under Obama put numerous Muslim Brotherhood members and anti-American Muslims into important positions. All the while, they keep flooding us with Muslims and turning away Christian refugees. The federal government isn't the best organization to intervene in the process of radicalization unless that portion of the federal government is the military and that military is dropping bombs. The only way to counter violent extremism is to kill anyone who acts in an extremist manner against the United States. Local governments would be much more efficient if they stopped electing liberals and self-deprecating whites to the mayor positions in the cities where radicalization occurs. The CVE plan failed, in large part, because immigrant Islamic political activists kept raising their demands in negotiations with Obama's deputies. For example, some Islamic advocates demanded the FBI stay out of Muslim neighborhoods. Advertisement: what do you think of Salim quitting? Do you think General Kelly will fix the DHS?